Here. Horseback riding will be allowed. It won't be encouraged, it won't be discouraged.
I want to thank you all for coming out to visit Robinson Preserve today and see what we're up to out here. Before we get started, I just want to introduce a few people that have come out to help answer any questions and to tell you more about the preserve. First off, this is Keith Betcher and Buff the dog. If everyone looks to their right or in that general direction, maybe your left if you're facing a different way, you can see there's a lot of active construction going on. They've been working about 6 days a week, and they're moving a lot of earth.
Restoration can be as simple as applying fire to a native system that's been fire kept out of for quite some time. That's the simplest. Then you've got a large-scale restoration like this one, to where the land has been manipulated for so long and in such a way that the native ecosystems that are there are starting to stress and strain.
We're going to show you guys some other areas and maybe even walk you into an area where we're at a near monoculture situation where you'll actually see that these plants, these exotic plants, have precluded the growth of our native stuff.
I know.
There's stakes out here. This looks like a saltern. What are you doing with it?
Judging by the name Saltern, what do you think it is? Salty, right?
Okay.
It's an area that has really, really salty soil, and as we get closer and closer to the water, which is
salty.
Good. It gets, the salinity increases. The plants that live in the saltern are really, really neat plants. Right now, you can kind of see some of them. There's some sea purslane popping up. It's got, we'll see it a little bit closer. It's really neat. It's got bright red kind of roots that run along the ground. When it blooms, it's got really, really pretty pinkish fuchsia flowers. We also have, I think, some saltwort that you'll be able to see a little bit better there. And the plants are totally and completely adapted to living in that high salinity. This is Brazilian pepper. Can you pull it out, Keith?
Looks like I could.
Yeah?
Cool, dude.
Keith knows the trick.
So we're going to leave Keith here and come back in an hour.
Oh, that's amazing, because everything else comes out so easily.
Look at how small that plant isn't as tall as me, which trust me is, means it's relatively short. So this plant, thank you.
No problem.
Keith, trust me, Keith does, you guys got to remember, Keith does this every day. The Rangers, this is what they do, and Keith as well. I mean, this is what these guys do. These roots are pretty darn deep, and that's why, we got a lot of work to do out here. So, if any of you would like to volunteer, see me after the program.
I'm going to talk a little bit more about salterns. They're also called salt barrens. And you'll see there are some little mangroves that are growing along here. And the soil here is so salty and the plants are so stressed that even though these mangroves are very short, they could be as much as 40 years old.
We pointed out the eagle's nest. That's it at a close-up view. We can only get this close because they've already fledged and left the nest. If the eagles were still in the nest, we wouldn't be here. Larger preserves out to the east. We have a lot of horseback riding going on in them. But a lot of people who ride horses don't like riding the horse.